What's going on, everyone? Chargers Now is presented by Prize Picks. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use code HMA when you play your first $5 lineup to receive $50 in lineups. You're going to love this Quentin Johnston news because I'm telling you, as the host of Chargers Now, this guy is having an absolutely fantastic offseason for our favorite team in LA. He's been doing a lot of really good things. And on today's video, I want to make sure that I really broke everything down that was going the way of Quentin Johnston, because I think that people who might not necessarily be as tuned in or maybe as up to date with everything going on with the Chargers, I don't know that they realize just how good QJ has been and how good Johnston is going to potentially be for this Chargers team in the 2026 NFL season. Make sure you subscribe to the show. Right now, we're on the road to 5,000 subscribers. I think that we can get there before the start of training camp. Help us get there. All you got to do, come on in, subscribe to the channel. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure that you do so. If you already are, share the video with your friends so they can subscribe as well. All right, so let's talk about how Quentin Johnston has performed. It's been very impressive to me from everything that we have heard about Johnston that he is clearly someone who's taking the most of his new opportunities here in Los Angeles. Now, I think the biggest thing for him has been the new offensive coordinator emergence of Mike McDaniel. Because I think in Roman's offense, it just wasn't designed for Johnston. You were asking him to do a lot of things that, frankly, he didn't excel at. Mike McDaniel, he's going to do things that breeds more confidence into the young wide receiver. Now, Chris Rim had this where he brought up why McDaniel has been so high on him and has a good quote here, and I think it's important that we discuss it. I think he's a guy that has some traits in his game that are similar to some very powerful, explosive, productive receivers that I've had in the past, namely like Julio Jones and Andre Johnson. So we're pushing him. That, of course, was McDaniel talking during OTAs and during OTA sessions about Quentin Johnston. Now, if you're being compared to Julio Jones and Andre Johnson, you're clearly someone who's having a lot of success in your game, and you're clearly someone who can build into being an all-time great. And this was something that we talked about with Johnston, right? He's a bigger body receiver. Both Andre Johnson and Julio Jones, those are bigger bodied guys. They are guys who, when the ball is in their hand, they are explosive. They are hard to bring down. They are hard to stop. Quentin Johnston, he was that at TCU, but he hasn't necessarily always been that in Los Angeles. So is he going to finally be able to reach his potential in this new offense? Now, we know with Roman, the offense was, hey, Johnston, go deep, and we're going to throw you the ball way down there. And that's how you're going to get all your yards. Well, I think it's going to be a little bit different this time around in Los Angeles, and that's going to help Johnston get to his potential because this offense is completely designed for him. Now, what do I mean by that? Obviously, Mike McDaniel was not hired by Ortiz and by Harbaugh because he specifically was going to get the most out of Quentin Johnston. That just doesn't make sense. McDaniel was hired because he's going to get the most out of Justin Herbert, which will lead to everyone being much better later on. But if Herbert's having a better year, and he's already a pretty darn good quarterback, well, then that stands to reason that Quentin Johnston is going to have one of the better seasons of his career. Now, we've seen him in the National Football League for 3 years. He is someone that has had success, scores a decent amount of touchdowns, his yards per catch go up, he's getting more receptions, or at least more receptions per game, the yards are going up, but that's definitely not the production that you want from someone who was taken as a first-round wide receiver. Enter Mike McDaniel. He is someone who has a different type of football mind. He sees the game in a different way. He is someone who knows that his players can really grow into being stars if he uses them in a way that sets up positive matchups. He's not someone that says, here's my offense, figure it out. He molds his offense around his players. It's never predictable. There's so many different personnel groupings. 12, the rumor is 13 personnel is going to start coming in, and that's going to allow for more opportunities for guys like Johnston to have as much success as possible. We got more to discuss on today's program, but first, I need to let you know that today's show is made possible by SeatGeek. When it's time to get out of the house, there's not many better options right now than a ball game, and with SeatGeek being MLB's official ticket marketplace, your tickets are fully guaranteed and instantly fulfilled in your account after purchase. I thought it would be fun over the weekend to look at potentially going to a Chargers game once the season gets underway. So, of course, I was looking for that opening day game against the Arizona Cardinals. Now, you know me, I'm looking for the best deals possible, so I was looking for a green dot near the end zone because I want to see as many touchdowns as possible as well. Whether it's a Chargers game with a special lady friend or a co-Wetzel concert with the boys, SeatGeek has your back. Each ticket is rated on a scale of 1 to 10, so you know you're getting a good deal. So look for the green dots. Green means good, red means bad. And of course, I have a code for you guys. You can use code CHAT10 for 10% off your next set of tickets at SeatGeek. That's 10% off any tickets with the promo code CHAT10. Make sure you click the link in the description to download the app and have the code automatically added to your account so you can use it later. Thank you, SeatGeek. This is a match made in heaven because you're getting the most out of a player. You're designing an offense that's going to allow for yards after the catch, and that's what Johnston was best at TCU. Literally, half of his yards his final year there were from yards after the catch. That's something that really hasn't happened in Los Angeles. Now, you can make the argument it is on him to a degree to get himself open, but there's still an opportunity for the offensive coordinator to make life a heck of a lot easier for his guys. And to me, that is something that the Roman offense did not get done enough that I think Mike McDaniel is going to be able to really do. Have you been happy with Quentin Johnston's play so far in his career? Let me know down below in the comment section, yes or no. I think there's going to be a decent amount of people that are happy. I think there's going to be a decent amount of people that are not. And I think the big key here is that you sound off in that comment section so we can talk about it as a fan base. Next, let's talk about Justin Herbert fixing his footwork, because I don't think a lot of people realize how important this is to the growth of one Quentin Johnston. Now, we know that Herbert has been working with that silly little green ball basically all offseason. We haven't really seen him throw. And while there are a lot of things that are good for Justin Herbert with that, he's taking less balls thrown from his arm, taking a little bit off the torque on his elbow. He's giving himself an opportunity to come into the season as fresh as possible. But what is important here with a guy like Justin Herbert is, as successful as he was, at times he did it kind of against himself, if that makes sense. So in the last offense, Justin Herbert knew that he had to be a superhero. He knew that the ball was essentially going to be given to him and the team would win or lose based on what he did. And so he did what a lot of young people do. They trust themselves, they trust their athleticism, they trust what they're seeing in the game, and they just start chucking it. And if I was Justin Herbert, I'd do the same thing. I'm tall, I'm strong, I'm athletic, and I got an arm that basically rivals everyone except for maybe Brett Favre, and it probably even rivals him when he was at his peak. So I'm going to be able to fit the ball into any window. So as long as I can move around in the pocket, as long as I can keep plays alive, I'm going to be able at some point to fight an open receiver. Now that's all well and good, but it leads to getting tackled more. It leads to getting sacked more. It leads to more beat up bodies at the quarterback position, aka for Justin Herbert. But it also at times can take away from your wide receivers, because instead of just taking the easy route, instead of just taking the quick pitch, get the ball out of your hands to your wide receiver and let him do most of the work, you're trying to do everything yourself. So now that Herbert is fixing the technique on his footwork and he's learning to get the football out faster, one, it shows a switch in play style design, which essentially does mean that Mike McDaniel wants him to get the ball out of his hands quicker to guys like Johnston in simple swing, bubble, tunnel type of screens, as well as just simple smoke routes, get the ball out of his hand quickly. One, that keeps Herbert upright and healthier for longer. But two, it allows those wide receivers to do what they do best, operate in space. Instead of Justin Herbert going, maybe I can fit this ball in this window right now on a 5-yard slant. But instead, I'm going to keep the play alive because I think that I can throw the football 40 yards down the field into a tight window and hit a guy like Quentin Johnston, and that led to more incomplete passes. So I think that Herbert getting the ball out of his hands quicker is going to not just be beneficial to Justin Herbert and his longevity, it's going to be beneficial to Quentin Johnston as well. Probably beneficial to Madison Beer as well, because she won't have to nurse Justin Herbert back to health after he ends up having to have a surgery or two in the offseason. Fingers crossed that doesn't have to happen anymore. Let's talk about this as well. I think that the organization, when they picked up his 5th-year extension, they showed everyone just the type of love and belief that this organization had in Quentin Johnston. There were a lot of wide receivers that we talked about as being potential trade options for this team in Los Angeles. Obviously, A.J. Brown was someone that was rumored to be a big target for this team. We discussed it on the show. Chargers didn't really seem all that interested. You could have went and signed guys in free agency like Deebo Samuel, right? You could have went into free agency and tried to sign a guy like an Alec Pierce, tried to go and sign a Mike Evans, if you will. The Chargers didn't do that. Now, there's still rumors that Keenan Allen might end up coming back, but the Chargers made it pretty clear that they liked Quentin Johnston. They believed in everything that he was doing and the way that he is continuing to grow as a player. Now, this is important to the psyche of Johnston because he knows that he can go into this offseason and say, they still have my back. And there's a confidence level to that. Imagine going to work every single day and your boss says, oh yeah, hey Steve. Instead of, Steve, man, we're excited for you to be here. We can't wait for you to really keep growing on this project. We're going to give you an opportunity to kind of push yourself forward in this company. That's a big deal. And the Chargers clearly did that for Johnston here. General Manager Joe Ortiz could have looked elsewhere. He could have looked for older options. He could have tried to put Quentin Johnston into a trade package. He could have looked to move on, but he didn't because he knew that his head coach, Jim Harbaugh, his offensive coordinator, Mike McDaniel, they believed in Johnston. And that's something that's going to be very impactful. A lot of guys, when they get belief put into them, they want to succeed for those people. It's easy to be the underdog and say, everyone hates me. I'm going to work hard. It's also easy to work hard for those who show you love and support. We got more to get into on this show. But first, I do need to let you know that it is also made possible by Prize Picks. Prize Picks is America's #1 sports picks app and is the best place to win cash while watching sports. Let's take a look at my lineup for the football action later on this year. First, I have the more on Justin Herbert pass yards. I believe the offense will be much improved in LA, and that should hopefully lead to more passing yards for Herbert. That's why I have the more on his passing yards. I have the more on Quentin Johnston's receiving TDs. I believe that Johnston will have more opportunities to catch the football with a hopefully improved offense in Los Angeles. That's why I have the more on his receiving TDs. I also have the more on Rashid Shaheed receiving yards. A full offseason in Seattle should help Shaheed build better chemistry with Darnold, and that's why I have the more on his receiving yards. New user offer. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use code HMA when you play your first $5 lineup to receive $50 in lineups. That's code HMA when you play your first $5 lineup to get an extra $50 in lineups with Prize Picks. Clickable link to download the app is in the comments and description. Lastly, the offensive line has been very improved. Now, this is very similar to Herbert fixing his footwork because Quentin Johnston doesn't really have any impact on the offensive line improvement, but it is something that is clearly going to impact him. When you look at the offensive line last year, it was one of, if not the worst offensive lines in all of football, and the Chargers won despite them. Now, with this offensive line unit, you have a much greater, a much more improved unit that is going to help push this team forward in ways that we have not seen before. Now, obviously, you still need everyone to stay healthy because if there are any injuries to the offensive line unit, that's going to be something that can hurt this team. But the offensive line is going to give Justin Herbert more time to throw the football. And if he has more time to throw the football, he has more time to find his open receivers. If he has more time to find his open receivers, well then shoot, he's got more opportunities to find Quentin Johnston. Now, I know that's an oversimplification of a lot of things, but personally, that's just where I'm at right now. Who has had the best offseason for the Chargers? Let me know down below in our comment section which player, in your opinion, has really excelled with everything that's been going on in Los Angeles. Hit the thumbs up button if you are excited for Quentin Johnston, because I'll tell you right now, I'm fired up for our potential wide receiver one with this team. Obviously, hit that subscribe button as well. Don't miss anything going on with your favorite team in LA. Thank you guys so much for viewing today's video. Go tell someone that you love them, and as always, bolt up.